Punished Fink here, giving my first battle report. So I've been playing Battletech for a long time, and lately I've been hosting games at a local game store called Hobby Quest in Elk Grove, California. If you're local, go check them out. They're awesome. And bi-weekly, I was playing games, and then I'm gonna try and do every week and Sunday to host a game of Battletech there. This is a battle report from a game that I actually used as an introduction to a new player. He opened up a salvage box and he pulled out a Black Knight. So, to counter him, I pulled out a Warhammer and I used my old lead Warhammer. Or for those of you that are more into anime, it was the Tomahawk from Macross. A little bit of legal problems there. So, we played, and he actually picked up the game pretty well. He understood heat management, and he wasn't just alpha striking everything, and he got first blood. So let's go into that and see how that all played out, and I'll be giving commentary for each turn. So here I'm just giving a quick crash course on how to play BattleTech, mainly just the movement and terrain, as we'll get into the combat as we go through the phases, so that way you can experience them turn by turn and get the flow of the game a little bit better. And now we're into deployment. Here I deploy in the middle. He deploys off to the edge there. He's going to move up into cover as I just move straight forward 6 hexes. I place a die to represent my attack modifier, as I also detail a little bit of firing arcs. Here we go into attacks. He actually opens up and hits with both large lasers into my arm. I have an app called Gator, which helps calculate the to hit number for attack rolls. It's really useful, and you'll see it pop up a lot in this game. So here we are in turn two. I back up, and he goes up on top of the hill. There's some attacking, but not really much is happening this turn. All right, top of turn three, we roll for initiative. My opponent moves into the trench, and so I decide to go into the trench on the other side of them. We're basically just trying to get that partial cover and protect our legs for this attack round. Here we are in turn four. I back up. My opponent moves up, still utilizing that partial cover to his advantage. He gets some shots in on me. Nothing really hitting low just yet. Turn five, I win initiative, so my opponent moves up and out of the trench. I move up, getting that partial cover still, and also a movement modifier. Getting some shots in on him, taking out that arm a little bit more. He gets some good shots in at me as well. Does some decent damage. Turn six, I lose initiative, and I also lost some movement due to heat. So I back up. He moves in a little bit closer. We get some shots off, him utilizing those medium lasers to his advantage. We do some damage to each other. So turn seven, camera kind of had a little bit of a glitch. We come in, I lost the initiative, he wins, so he moves. But by this time, I've actually knocked out his shoulder and his medium laser. And I'm sitting kind of happy. A little bit. Still nervous, so we get some fire shot off. I hit with, I think, only a medium laser. There he is rolling for his attacks. I believe he was only firing with his medium lasers at this close range. Missed. Here we are at turn 8. I lose initiative, so I'm backing up in that canyon, trying to use that partial cover to my advantage. He moves out into the open there. Gets a movement modifier. Start just calculating out the target hit number. Fire some shots at him. Start going internal into that side torso there. But by this time, he's also basically taken out one of my main PPCs. And so that's affecting me this round. Now, I also messed up on my calculation there, and so I had him take off one medium laser damage to that arm because I didn't know if that was a close call or not, and it was just a way to kind of get back for me messing up. Here we are in turn 9, rolling for initiative. I lose initiative again. Pretty much most of this game, I am not the one taking charge and movement, but he's gone down. I move up, get that modifier, and also that partial coverage from that trench. He moves in, joins me in the trench, gets a movement modifier, and also the partial cover. So now we're just rolling for attacks. I don't really hit with anything. And I believe he's firing with 2 large lasers here, not really hitting either. And right now, heat's starting to become a little bit of a factor for both of us. But he uses his heat management pretty well. Here we are at turn 10. I lose initiative again, decide to get out of that trench. With my opponent's Black Knight overheating a little bit, he decides to just stay put. I start firing into him with 2 medium lasers and PPC. They're all hitting that right arm. He decides to just take it cool. And I believe by this time, I think I forgot to mention that I also took out another weapon system. So he's dealing with that, but now he's able to vent that heat, get that movement back, and he's ready to go. Here we are at turn 11. I lose initiative, so I decided to back up and take that one little point of target number modifier. And then also I start going into a little bit about the lore of Battletech and history of it, showing off some of the other models for them. Now he's moving up, and he also forgets that the woods cost a movement point, so he had to back up a little bit there. It's all fine. He still gets that movement. And here, get into that left arm and take it off, which is no real loss to him since he already lost that medium laser, which was the only weapon there. But he is hurt. Here we are at turn 12. I lose initiative again. So I just keep backing up, trying to get some range. By this time, I'm only using a PPC, my 2 medium lasers. So I'm trying to keep the PPC within short and the medium lasers within at least medium range. You get some pot shots at him, miss with everything. He gets a hit on me, though. And by this point, just firing a PPC and 2 medium lasers, I'm kind of staying a little bit heat neutral. Here we go. Turn 13. I lose initiative, move up, try to get that partial cover to my advantage, but not really, too far away. And then my opponent, just depending on whether to move or not, decides to stay still. So then we go into attack, count out those hexes, roll attacks, don't really do anything. He rolls and actually gets a headshot with a large laser onto my cockpit. It's going to play a point. Here we go into turn 14. I lose initiative. So I move up on that mountain. My opponent tries to go down in those trenches. Now we go into attack phase. Get some solid hits in there. Start going internal again. And determine critical hits. Knock out another heat sink. Forgot to mention that I knocked out one of his heat sinks earlier in the game. Now that heat's really playing a factor on him. Now it's his turn to get a little bit of attacks on me. Doesn't really hit with much. And heat. Here we are in turn 15. I lose initiative, but I decide to stay there, just turn around a little bit. We go into attack from here, take some shots at him. Start just lighten up those legs, trying to take him out by the knee. But nothing's really getting through. Here he does some hits, misses with everything. And then we just try to calculate heat. Because, Battletech's all about the maths, right? Here we go, turn 16. I win initiative this time. And he decides to go down a little bit of a weird way. But sadly, this is the last video that we have of this game. And it fades to black. No, that's not true. The camera was first taking time lapse video and then it messed up. You can probably tell the quality. And the settings of the time lapse were a little bit wonky. There was some weird artifacting that happened around the edges of it. So the rest of the video was better quality. And I'm sorry about that. That's because it went from time lapse to straight video recording. And the camera filled up before we could finish the game. It was only 2 more turns later, and as you can see over here, I have all the turn counters down there. I color coded my damage according to each turn. It ended when he shot a medium laser into the cockpit, killing my pilot. Brave soldier, brave soul. He almost won, too. As you can see, the Black Knight was in forced withdrawal, and he was withdrawing, but he had a lucky shot right there at the end. Either way, it was a good game. He knocked out one of my PPCs, and I knocked out a couple of his systems. But the Black Knight, man, it's a good mech. It is one of my favorites. In all, I hope my opponent had a good time. I wasn't able to catch his name, but I let him know that I am on the Discord for the local hobby store, and I'll try to show up every weekend. And a little bit of a disclosure for the end of the video for those of you that made it past this point. Anybody that's new that shows up, I actually have a bunch of salvage boxes, and I just give them a new model.